I am Yamaya, and this is the Cipher, bringing you conscious, controversial conversation. The Cipher, the mathematical concept of zero, the nothing from which all things come. These are my co-hosts, Kevlar, King Wiz, Tanisha, and Lady. Enter the Cipher. So today we're going to be talking about black media representation. So do we need less of the Top Boy style road life narratives or something else? So, in 2019, Top Boy in particular got a huge cash injection by a well-known artist called Drake. And since then, a lot more attention has been given to this type of movies. How do you guys feel about this particular style of narrative that reflects that aspect of black culture?
I don't think it's anything new, It's exciting to people who are fans of the Top Boy story, but we've had very similar stories before, very similar narratives being told again and again, not only in, British media, but obviously in American media especially. The story of, the black hustler trying to do his thing, trying to make money and what comes with it. So it's cool and it's great, but it's nothing new. So that.
Apart from the fact now it's happening in London, so we're used to a lot of the American narrative, isn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe what got people excited was one, seeing black people on TV. Okay. On its own, we always get excited about that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that alone was like, whatever they're giving us, we're going to lap it up. But then seeing it from a London perspective is something that we don't often get to see.
Yeah. And I have mixed feelings as well, because I think whether you like it or not, that is part of our reality. And to me, the purpose of art is to reflect reality. However, I think where the problem comes in is that particular narrative is made to represent our entire image.
Yeah.
That's all you see. You think of black people, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They're thugs, they're this, they're that. And in the same way that art reflects reality, reality can also mimic art. And so by continually showing that kind of narrative, it can kind of lead to normalization or even like glamorization of that kind of lifestyle. And I think that's where the conflict comes in. Like, I think if you are going to show that narrative, then you need to provide layers. So you need to show how they got to that situation. You need to show how the system contributes to creating that kind of lifestyle.
Exactly.
So that it's not just black and white. It's not just, okay, these people are angry or that group of people are angry and they're just bad. And that's it. Because nothing is black and white. There's always more layers to it. But at the same time, I also think that if you do have a problem with it, like for me, I'm of a mindset, rather than focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you do want. So if you're in a position to create something different, rather than saying, I don't want to see that, create more of the opposite. Create more of the narrative that you do want to show. Because obviously I can't sit here and think of my stories being told of my parents' history or my grandparents' history, like Windrush stuff. I can't off the top of my head think of that kind of narrative. I can think of loads of period dramas, you've got Jane Eyre, you've got Dickens, you've got all of that stuff for days. Yeah. But I can't think of something reflecting black history within Britain, exactly. So I think, and it is being done. It is actually, I do feel like we are starting to do it. Like even now, Steve McQueen, brilliant British black director, that he directed a movie called Shame. He also directed 12 Years a Slave, which most people know him for, but he's done other stuff that are good work. But he's working on something right now, a mini TV series, 6-part, and that's about the Caribbean or the West Indian experience in London between the late 1960s and early 1980s. So, do you know what I mean? That's something new. It is starting to happen. I just feel like we're behind.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Black trauma porn seems to get the cash injection, seems to get the buzz and
Most
people
definitely.
talking.
And I feel like it's interesting that Drake would want to now come into this lane. I feel like he's been jumping around with different cultures, appropriating their culture, making his music, making his millions. But now it's like he's set up this link between the US music and the UK music. I feel like the UK always pushed a more authentic vibe in their lyrics, and the US became very commercialized. It was taken away from the true purpose of what hip hop stood for, and it was brought to this sort of materialism and, you know, about hoes, bitches, and you know the whole list,
usual,
right? And I feel like they set up a link now where that's infiltrating the UK. Now the UK are trying to imitate what the US have, and even their social problems. We're fighting for the US's social problems. We don't even focus on what's actually happening in the UK anymore, and we're letting that sort of just mingle in with the UK scene, and that's just something that I observed. So it's interesting that Drake would want to, you know, inject money into grime music.
It's true, because I don't even think that in terms of like our black like history over here and the kind of civil movements we've had, I don't feel like a lot of us as a whole even knows like things that have happened in the UK. There's things that I didn't even know that had happened in the past until recently, other than things that I've learned from my mum and her experience, you know, direct experience. It's like we know all about American, you know, history, their story, their civil rights movements, but we don't see that narrative. We don't have as much movies as they do, even showing that aspect of things. So,
and ones that have come out, they're very sporadic. I mean, there was one a couple of years ago about the Black Power movement in the UK, which I think it ended up on the BBC or Channel 4, and it was very good, but it's not frequent enough. It doesn't get that much attention or push. And I think like the Broadwater Farm situation that happened a few years back would make really good TV. You know?
But you see, to answer the question, good morning, Cipher. I'm like, but yourselves, my time talk. No, obviously, I like this discussion because I've been on both sides of this. Like, I've been conscious and I've been under the influence of like road life and them kind of things growing up in Tottenham with my family. So there's a certain narrative that I believe it's not just us, and this is what we have to kind of realise. Propaganda is very, very powerful, innit? And especially living in a time where there's screens in everyone's homes and everyone's pockets, the way that you're presented and controlled is very crucial, because a man doesn't have to interact with you ever, but they will still have a perception of you based on what they've seen from you, innit? What they've heard. So a lot of things, I would say, influence the reason as to why this is happening. Cause I look up to a man like Asher D and a man from I was younger. They were so solid true, and I'm a musician, and like Asher D, Ashley Waters, he's been doing, that's the brother from Top Boy if you don't know, like Deshane and My Man and that. He's been doing this. So I wouldn't just say like he's on a narrative or anything, because I got into looking up like UK films and that. He was one of the first that inspired, man, innit? Like Bullet Boy and them films from way back. But to me, what it is like, where's the progression? Because a man's been doing these kind of films. There's been things like this adulthood, kidulthood, like it's been done. It's not new.
It's not new.
So I guess it's like you could say there's business and there's personal. Like it's been done and it was done successfully, and they made loads of money from it. So it's like, as a business person, you can look at that and it's like, well, we're going to imitate that model. We're going to redo that to make money. Now, as a black person in the culture that it's representing, if it's exploiting, man, and it's making me money, from my standpoint, I'm going to look at it like, that's not good, innit? But if you look at it as, who's the director of Top Boy? Okay, man, I say these guys are the actors, Asher D, Drake, and he funded it, but who are the executive directors? Who are the screenplay writers? You get me? Who are the... it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just that. It's deeper than just that, because Drake, that's not his day job. Do you understand?
No,
like, Jake doesn't have the expertise. They might have because I'm a musician myself, and I see like when I'm on set, there's certain people that will be behind the scenes
And they know what
calling
they're
certain
doing.
shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Wardrobe, that's a whole team.
Exactly.
Understand? Screenplay, it's a whole team. Someone
Yeah.
has to check the script once it's been written.
Well,
So
the
it's
writer
like
of Top Boy was a British or Irish guy.
there was
And
many
he said when
hands
he was
in this.
interviewed,
Didn't even know that.
yeah, he was a white guy, Ronan Bennett, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And he was actually asked, why did you produce this? You know, you're not from the community. And he's like, well, I live in the community and this is what I saw with my eyes and I wanted to write about what I saw happening. And to give credit to Top Boy and other narratives like that, they didn't just, you know, glorify the road life. They kind of did, you know, go around the social issues of mental health and poverty,
Yes.
and you know, single parent homes and trying to survive, and the kind of social, you know, immigration, all this, and they did touch on those issues that kind of contributed to the lifestyle or the struggles that people experience. And I feel like subsequent films like Blue Story did that even better, looking at how road life impacts a young person, how they even got there, because no one comes out the womb saying I'm going to be road, you know what I mean? And then also how it affects them. You know, a lot of the people that have experienced or live in this lifestyle have PTSD and it's unaddressed, and that even kind of feeds into some of the violence that might be happening, and that's not really being looked at. So it does touch on a lot of social issues more than just looking at the road life. So, but it's still too much of the same story.
My question.
Go on.
No, my question is, with films like that, I want to know, does it create more harm than it does do good? Because I know it's important for these stories to be told, but it has to be told in a genuine way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you brought up propaganda, because there's some excellent scholarship on it by a man named Edward Benet, and you can find this post on the Black Standard. There's a quote that I want to extract from this. It says, "Propaganda is the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses, and it's an important element in democratic society. We are governed, our minds molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested, largely by men we have never heard of."
Never.
So, you know, it's interesting that you brought up the fact that Top Boy and these other people, they're signed by people we've never seen, working for labels that with people that we've never come across and who don't present themselves to the public. So it's like we don't even own our own industry. We don't own our music. And that's molding, you know, the youth, because that's what they see, you know.
But you see that point, picking up off that, that's a very good point, bro. Break it down. You see this whole idea of road life. It's like I was saying in the first episode again. We have to have our own definitions and define our society and our lives. Because what does it mean to be a roadman? Why is it that all of these things, the roadman wear is all Nike? Who does being a roadman empower the most? Empowers Nike, empowers Adidas, empowers the alcohol companies that man are buying bottles, empowers the people who are growing the weed and all them things. And the man, they ain't growing the most weed. The UK distributes more weed out of the UK, legally, government-wise, than any of the man them on the road. Look it up.
Repeat
Because
that.
pharmaceutical
In the back.
pharmaceutical
Yeah,
drugs,
run it back, run it
the
backwards.
UK distributes some of the world's most weed. I'm not going to say the most, but listen, Google it, look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah? They
Facts.
legally distribute these things to medical people, and then they're arresting the man them for these things.
Yes.
So why is it that we're all into these things? Why is it that we model ourselves and glamorize ourselves after these things, and it doesn't empower us? That's not accidental.
Yeah.
How come the Chinese brothers, when they come over here, they set up Chinatown? Them and them have their thing, the triads. Them are on their things, you know. Them man have their history, some mad gang man and them things there. Look it up.
They all do it.
But yet their thing is modelled after their culture.
Yeah.
Their gang man, them, you'll see guy in this place and he's got two dragon there. You see it? He's got two oriental looking type things around him. Theme. Us man, you go into the man them's places looking like, there's no Africanness towards being like active, being on the roads, being firm. Because to me, the roads has a place in it in society. Everyone has a place. There's a thing called the warrior class. We're displaced people, isn't it? So if we think about before man was here in this society, who would have been the people that was protected? Who would have been the guards, the warriors, the generals, the military brothers? There's a spirit for that.
Yeah.
Obviously now, you're displaced.
Misdirected.
You're in the next land.
energy.
Who is good? What? You're not going to be allowed to be in power. You're not going to be the feds.
No.
You're not going to be the big military leaders.
No.
So now you guys are just displaced with all
Find
this
your
frustration,
way to
this
make it
aggression, this
Exactly.
unchanneled warrior spirit.
Yeah,
and this is what
misdirected.
happens. Man, end up on the roads. It's not even, it's unchanneled. And as you said, propaganda is now the manipulation of certain things. So man are taking this unchanneled energy in the spirit, and we are being taught,
Directed.
and directed
Yeah.
to kill ourselves.
Exactly.
What's that?
Exactly.
We're imitating oppressors,
Yeah.
Most definitely.
killing each other.
Right.
There was a point I was going to make, but I just forgot it.
No worries.
Don't
I'm
worry,
gonna make
come
that
back.
point for you while you think.
Sorry, you go on.
No worries.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I remember what it was.
Okay. No worries.
And it comes back to our first episode, because the people in the UK, they don't identify with their real culture, especially like the people who've traveled across, so a lot of Caribbean people, African people. They're now getting caught up in the UK culture.
Yeah.
And they're not even tapping into their whole African spirituality or their real roots.
Right.
And they're just calling themselves, they're saying, I'm from the UK, I'm English. And they're not identifying with all their other history. And I think that shows like that, sometimes like Top Boy, can get us sidetracked into thinking that
that is your culture.
Yeah, our dysfunction is our culture.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Yeah, so that's
The
what
result of what we've been through
Exactly.
is not the same culture we would have done prior. But then exactly, if we talk about spirituality and ancient, where's the Roadman and ancient African spirituality then? How come there's no Roadman back then? Man, I'm on a block. Because this whole thing, the whole construct, it's a matrix. The whole idea, the whole society we
Didn't
live in
exist
here,
before.
it wasn't there.
No, it
Even
didn't.
the idea of a ghetto. When people talk about the ghetto, look at where it come from. The Jews and the man there, Hitler and the man there.
Yeah.
What they used to. So when we talk about we're from the ghetto, it's like
Concentration
subconsciously we are saying that
That's what
we're
they're
in a trap
Yeah.
place, and
Yeah.
the man say we're in the trap.
And
It's like
that's
your
who we are.
subconscious
Exactly.
really
You're
brings things out.
subconsciously aware of your
Man's on the
subconscious
road.
things happening.
You see, I'm in the trap.
Even the US, it's
Yeah.
called the projects. Because
Yeah.
it's a project.
It's
They
a project. It's an
The
experiment.
eugenics program.
Yeah, they bring in the drugs.
It's an experiment.
So
Yeah.
back to the main topic though, instead of very off. As Sis said, art is a reflection of your reality, yes. But when you don't control the narratives that influence your everyday reality, then your art can be manipulated. When the people who do have the resources and control they're not bringing the doctors true, they're not bringing the engineers true, but the people who are singing and dancing and kicking balls and everything they're plastered all over the screens, they're plastered all over the shops. When you're young, you imitate what you see, you look up to what you see. If you're born in China and you listen to Chinese, you speak Chinese. You don't plan it. You go to France, you speak French. You go to Spain, you speak Spanish. So if you're brought up seeing these images of these people, when you go to a school and ask the youths them, what does everyone want to do? Guaranteed, most of them are going to want to do football, acting, singing, dancing. These are the things that are seen as productive in our community, because it's not across the board. Because go to an Asian or an Indian household and ask them man there, what do you man want to be? Man are saying this, it's that. And why is it now? You have to ask the question, because you can see something, but you can't just look at it and judge first. You have to ask the question, why is it like this? Why is it that these people have these kind of aspirations, and those aspirations are actually beneficial to the community? Then, as I said, why is it we have these aspirations that empower everybody else? Man want to drive German whip. What do you mean German whip? They were beefing us in the World War and all them things. You still not. Man say England don't really like Germany, but everyone bragging about German whip.
German.
What are you talking about? So it's like, you got to be careful not to mistake an outside projection and manipulation
Of what they think
of
you
what
are.
they want us to see.
Exactly.
Because men are being oppressed in certain things, and what we're intentionally doing. Because a man like Asher D and the man, they're trying to get at the ends. Certain men on the roads and that, and it's like, bro, when you're coming from certain situations, scenarios, you will do anything not to go back into that position. And unless you've been in that position, you cannot say what you would or wouldn't do. Because from the comfort of your yard, and you got heating and them thing there, you're saying that, cool. But I know, man, his mum's on coke, he's got a little brother, and he's got probably saying, bro, my mum's taking my lunch money and that, fam. Like, we get government benefits, man barely get anything, man barely get a little food and that. I have to do my thing, and I have to make sure bro's good. So, bro, what do I do, fam? You're 15, you can't get a job.
On a point that Kevlar made about the produce or the media that we're getting, that we're consuming, is not being created by us. What do you then think of that Blue Story, where that film came out of the community? It was by a rap man. It's from the end. And even like Michaela Coel, she's doing big things. She's changing the narrative. She's done Bubblegum. She's doing I May Destroy You. She's getting a lot of ratings for that show. These are shifting away from that narrative, and it kind of makes me proud, because in all honesty, the UK media entertainment industry, the black UK media and entertainment industry, is still in its infancy. We're so behind the US. Like in America, there's all spectrums and all types of entertainment that portray us in different ways. and positive, negative, and everything in between. But over here, we ain't got that. But it's still relatively in its infancy. So maybe we need to be a bit more, understanding of the stage that we're at in terms of having the resources, the revenue, to create our own media and then branch out into different things. Like, for example, what Roadman has done. Even though it's the same kind of, top boy, road life narrative, that was created by us, or from the community. And then we've got people like I said, Michaela Cole, who's doing something completely different and he's been very successful in that. And I feel like that is going to keep growing and developing and expanding out more. And eventually we'll catch up to the US in terms of having a variety of media that shows and reflects all aspects of what it means to be black.
Can I just quickly say because I think Michaela Cole, she got offered like $1 million contract with Netflix and she turned it down.
Yeah, I heard.
And I was like,
much respect for that. Yeah,
and I feel like we're going to see much more of that.
But that also
she
shows
just got
you
offered a contract with Netflix for the series that she was created, and I think they were giving her like £1 million or $1 million contract. And she refused
even
it.
Her own
taking
team,
ownership of her, what she's, her stuff. So it comes back to her.
Even her own team were trying to persuade her to take the deal behind her back. They were trying to negotiate with Netflix behind her back, and she wasn't getting a good deal. Her team knew, but they were trying to get it because they were going to eat from it. And she found out, she sacked her team.
Sack them
she
now.
Sacked them. She's
get rid of them.
And and she turned down the deal. And I thought that takes so much integrity.
Yes.
Because she hasn't reached yet, but she's got quite far in her career.
You've got to be careful.
But she kept her integrity and she's holding on to the control.
But this is why you got to be careful because look, there's a pattern in it. There's common patterns. You see, as soon as your show start becoming successful, look how these companies, the corporations, even we're talking about Top Boy and that, they're vultures. Man, said $1 million. Imagine you're coming from poverty now. Yeah, she can afford to turn that down. Yeah, because clearly she must be in a position where she's alright to turn that down. Because certain man coming from the roadside now, on the road,
that.
Top Boy and that couple actors, couple of them rappers, man, are saying, brother, what $1 million? Drake's putting I'm in. And it's like, how can you fault a man for eating?
No.
You can,
different strokes,
but we have a different heart. But you can't knock a man if you haven't been in his position.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? Because it's not good, that representation, without the truth. The one thing I have to say about Top Boy and them thing there, bruv, I'm from the ends. Where was the yard man them with the beads and the things them? Where's the people like us in Top Boy? Where? Everybody slinging, everybody slanging, everybody banging.
Yeah.
But no one ain't on the roadside doing no good things. Like where no, I'm not talking like secular good things. I'm talking about, bro, there's conscious events. There's these kind of things that no one ain't including on the mainstream world. But you see when you walk through London and that, you're seeing bare people. You're seeing black child promotions and then with the books. You're seeing there was an African drum salute yesterday in the ends.
Sorry?
It's not black trauma porn. Unless it's black trauma porn,
that's what
these kind of things are not gonna get noticed. It's not marketable. It's like, why would I put this on TV? Who's gonna tune in?
They don't promote black scholarship or black intellectuals, and that makes someone like me feel very ostracized when I grew up in an area where, we didn't have many fathers. You look at all the other social stigmas. I lived in that area, but I always just pushed towards the books, and I was very alienated in that environment, even in school. Like in high school, they would call me bookman.
Yeah, you're seen as less masculine.
Exactly, and even I see Akala sometimes in his YouTube comments, he gets a lot of criticism, and they're saying, he's a bourgeoisie type, he's doing stuff up there with the BBC, but he's tapping into Shakespeare. He's traveling back and looking at language structures and comparing it to now, something that someone who just stays on the UK culture will never be able to tap into. And then people are saying, but you're not going to the hood schools. Now, I don't know Akala's business, but I know that scholarship isn't pushed and it isn't promoted as much as all this other gang stuff is. And the sad thing is that there's a lot of people who think like me and have these ideas, but if they don't have anyone to discuss it with, they don't have a platform, where can they share those stories? Where can they share that information? And that's what we need to see more in the UK, because it's unfair to represent everyone and, have this blanket culture term and say, Roadman. There's more to it, and there's more inside of us that we need to bring out. Like, you go to high school, there are intelligent people there, but they get caught up in their life. People who are very creative, very good at drama, improvisation. You can see they can speak, from a deeper storehouse of knowledge. They just bring it out of their own DNA, and they can always outperform in schools. Best runners, best dancers.
Yeah, musicians.
But then what happens is they get caught up in that lifestyle. They think to be a man is to be road.
Because they like
Or to wear a hoodie.
the
Yeah.
ego.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I come out in a shirt, people don't like that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just stepping in a different path.
Yeah.
So there's not equal representation, that's what I want to say. They don't promote black intellectuals,
But
black scholarship.
Why is
That's
it?
the question.
I'm going to tell you why.
That's the question.
No, there's
Let's
one
hear
thing.
from Let's
Let me tell you why.
Tell me why.
Tell us
I'm going to tell you why, Wiz. I'm going to let you know.
Why is whiteness associated with intellect?
And I'm going to tell you why.
When you say something smart, you're acting white.
I'm going to
Well,
tell
you
you
know what
why.
that comes
Tell
even
me
down
why.
to? Penguin Classics, they only promote British literature mostly. Or when they do, they say it's African literature.
And I'm
They always
saying,
put it
yeah.
under-
You're
I'm
acting
gonna
white
go
if
bookshop.
you're articulating
Yeah,
African
yeah,
slang.
yeah.
What's wrong?
I'm literally sorry.
So why can't we call us
I tell you this story.
Oxford Classics and all that?
I went to Waterstones looking for a particular book, and
Yeah.
I just went in there looking, alphabetically ordered.
Yeah.
So I went looking for it was Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book once, one of her books, yeah. And I went to the normal bookshelves looking for her name in alphabetical order with all the other books, and I was like, "Where's the book?" And she goes, "Oh, it's in the black writing section." I was like,
See?
black writing section? Like, was there
A book is a book, isn't it?
I'm waiting there thinking a book is a book. Is there something called
It's an
white
author,
writing?
isn't
Why
it?
is there black writing or black
It's
or
terrible.
black literature? I was like,
It's terrible.
So that was my experience of trying to find a book in a bookshop.
Especially when our stories are older than their language. But
That's
another
conversation.
So
into
let's hear from
semantics
sis. Let's hear from sis.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation because at the end of the day, we have been going through war. We are a people who are oppressed. And what happens is your oppressor will always tell your story. And so for me, it's like, why am I waiting for Mr. Robert Jones to come and let me know what it's like to be a 25-year-old black girl in the UK? He's not, he doesn't know, he doesn't care. And the more degenerate he depicts me, the profitable it is for him.
More violent than ever.
More violent than ever. The angry
gripping.
black woman.
You mean?
She's about to mess it all up.
actors.
So
It's
I'm not
true.
waiting for you to tell my story.
We need to tell our own story.
Because I understand what has happened to me as a black
You
woman and
understand
as
the
a
bigger
people,
picture.
the bigger picture.
That's it.
You know, they're never going to tell you your story. They're never going to educate you on who you are. They're never going to tell you about
It doesn't benefit
your
them
it
to
doesn't
do
benefit them. So
That's true.
why am I here?
Why are you even
and
expecting it?
I'm expecting the BBC to tell me who I am and what my experience is about. I don't have the time anymore because I've been looking at it from like Kim was saying from young. You know, I aspired to be these people that now I'm looking at and I'm like, actually, first of all, you're not real, and second of all, my demise is your profit. You know, you're not going to tell my whole story. You're not going to tell the side of me that is intelligent and that is articulate and can hold a conversation together. You're going to focus on the fact that, you know, I like to twerk, okay, and that's another aspect of me as a woman.
I can do both.
Yeah, I can
You know
do
what I mean?
both, and I like to cook. But sometimes, you know, I like, you know, I'm a rounded person.
Multifaceted.
You cannot just 2D me and tell me my story and say this is who you are. No.
But even
And
that
it goes
with the
back to
roads,
the
it makes
definition.
sense. Yeah.
I define myself. You cannot tell me my story, Mr. Drake. You don't know me.
Well,
and
Drake
I don't know you.
Drake isn't even telling the story. Drake just saw the culture and thought, let me
Executive
jump on it.
producer, you can't produce,
Yeah.
you can't executive produce my story. You weren't there. You weren't there.
But I big up Drake still
Right.
because he kind of brought the UK scene a lot more attention in the States, and I feel like that you built a bridge there, and I think, and it
I'm
kind
not
of,
with that as a musician, sorry, but how's that benefited the ends?
that hasn't been. I feel
That ain't
like
benefited me. That ain't benefited my brothers on the roadside.
I've seen a lot of
Man, talking Drake. There's a couple man there.
There's
There's a couple man
there
there.
OVO now.
There's a couple
And
man
it's just
them in
like,
that, but
interesting.
there's certain people who, like he said, Akala, man like low key. You have to shout out
Oh,
them
come
man
on.
there. Been doing this thing from day.
Low-key.
There's some real artists that have been pushing this scene. Logic and them
But
man
they
there.
get noticed now.
Like-
I follow this guy on YouTube. What's his
Even
name?
Dave and them man there.
Yeah,
bit more.
Americans are
Respect it.
loving our music now, and there's loads of videos on YouTube of American people reviewing the UK scene.
Yeah.
It's getting millions of views. It's getting love.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like seeing how Americans react to.
They're loving it. They're saying
our-
about our bars.
Yeah,
Like they're
yeah,
saying
yeah.
American music is getting lost. the UK are about their bars. They are giving us the
dope.
rating that I feel like it's about time.
Yeah, that's dope.
Because we are about our bars. We're not
We're
talking
about our
nonsense.
bars. But we don't need American approval. Come clash, man, if you don't want smoke. Yeah? I want smoke over here. And this is what it's not a competition. We need to just, you see, when you do the best, when you're not seeking validation. Because sometimes I realize this is why the UK thing ends up following America. Just be creative. Because that's what
We're
it
not
is,
following
isn't
America
it?
anymore. UK has stopped rapping in American accents since time now.
No.
Time.
I see the imitation has changed. Because we're not following America, but drill comes from America. When man are talking about the original drills, there was I was on the road when it was Pyru, Bloods, every gang had a colour. Now it's 016 this brother, 424, this brother 10. Where did that come from? That didn't come from the UK. The road thing goes through. It's like school. You see school now. When I was in school, it was A, B, C. Now I'm asking my little brother. I'm saying, bro, what have you got an A on it? He's saying, no, it's 1, 2, 7. I'm saying, what? They changed the whole thing already. I was just in school the other day. The grading system. I used to try and get A. I did A star. I'm saying, what? You're not trying to get A's? He's like, we don't do A's. We do 1, 2, 3. I'm saying, what the? It's like it's evolved so quickly, and it's like now that it throws you off because now I cannot connect with my little brother.
You don't know
when it comes to education system because now I don't understand the education system fully.
What it takes to get a star equivalent. What is
that? So A stars like a 7, B's a 6.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then it goes back to who is educating your sister.
Thank you.
Who is what are they telling her?
And what's their reason?
And what's their reason behind it? And when she leaves, what does she leave with? Does she leave with a knowledge of self? Does she leave with a bit of self-confidence and self-worth?
I think that the same people that are at the top, they have brought into the same stereotypes that we have brought into.
Yeah, for sure.
They don't look like us, they don't relate to us, and when they receive certain kind of content that may be targeted to us, that if it goes beyond the scope of their understanding of us, they're going to say no. That's not going to sell. That's not believable. They may even think that you playing a role as a doctor is like a fairy tale. It's not believable. Come on, do you know what I mean? And so they're saying no because they genuinely believe, no, that's not who you guys are. So
and that's fine.
This is
why.
why.
That's what we need. That's what we need to educate them.
This is why you shouldn't be asking anyone to make something for you.
No.
They are doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
The mass people.
Yeah,
it's not illogical. It's not illogical. It makes sense. If the most people in this country look like me, and I'm a businessman, I'm selling to them. It's not illogical.
And they don't want to see themselves running around doing what we're doing.
The illogical part is that we ain't doing that for us.
No.
That's the only.
And then we're complaining at them. Why they not doing it?
Why are
for
you
us?
depicting me wrong? It may not be moral or based by our values or our standards, but they're not doing anything that doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
We are.
Yes.
We are.
But we're the ones with the trauma, innit? We're the ones with the trauma.
Yes. Okay.
But we are doing it for ourselves now.
We're getting
I've got so many male cousins. I've got so many male cousins. And I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 that fit that Roadman lifestyle. Only 2 or 3 out of about 30 or 40 male cousins, second cousins, and only 2 or 3. That doesn't fit my reality. I've gone into auditions and picked up scripts and had to read those kind of lines,
and they think you do it,
and felt like I can't do this. I can,
and they're looking at you shocked, isn't it? How she can't do it?
To do that, I have to take myself more out of my comfort zone in order to connect with that level of that type of character.
But that's what we need to work on, because as you said, when you get that role, the people that are looking at you thinking like, yeah, she should do that with the breeze. Why is it that? Why do they assume that? Because even in my family, I've got 4, 5, 6 of us siblings. Only 2 of us was road brothers. Me and my older brother. My little brothers, they don't care about that. They're interested in none of that. Road, gal, looking good, money, smoke. No, they don't even smoke nothing. The man them engineering, playing football, man them plays games, science. It's like exactly that. It's not a representation of the. They just want to show this side.
A lot more vast amounts of.
And even a roadman is a human. No human is one facet.
Exactly.
Like even a brother who's on road. So when he was 10 years old, he didn't watch cartoon. He didn't have dream. He didn't colour. He don't have his favourite character.
And when you go to home with your husband, father, brother, sister, cousin, friend.
But you want to make out he's just always in road mode. Even a chef, he's not always cooking. Like, even the best skater, he's not always skating.
He's
Like,
not
you have
skating.
to do eating, sleeping, cleaning, interacting.
You're a whole person.
You can't be rolled all the
I'm a
time.
whole person living out here, fam. Yeah,
But that just
exactly.
goes to show how pervasive this whole thing is. Because even when I was at uni, in my final year, I did my dissertation on black media, this very topic, black media representation.
Yeah.
And I really wanted this particular lecturer, who's a black guy who wrote about race, and he wasn't available to do it. So I got given this next lecturer. A white man, I'm not going to say his name, but you know who you are. And when I brought my dissertation outline to him, and we were talking about like how the Cosbys are represented and stuff like that, and he's like, oh, the Cosbys are the whitest family you know. And it's like, why are they white? Because they are lawyers and doctors. What makes my own supervisor looked at my dissertation, oh, maybe you should save it for a master's. It's very good, but maybe you should say, because it was that level, so maybe you should save it for a master's. I was like, no, this is the research I want to do. This is what I want to look at. And I was talking about the Cosbys, and he said to me, oh, but the Cosbys are the whitest family you know. I said to him, but what makes them white? Because they're doctors and lawyers and
Because the whole family's together.
This was he was a lecturer supervising my dissertation.
Wow.
And that's how pervasive
That's
it was.
exactly.
It literally put me off.
Yeah.
Finally, he told me to save this to downplay my essay.
Yeah.
I save it for a master's. That was the first thing that put me off. Well, that was the second thing. The first thing was not getting the supervisor that I wanted. The second thing was that, and then him trying to tell me not to write this extensive essay and to that detail, to that level or standard.
Move it along,
And
yeah.
the third thing was his comment about the portrayal of the Cosby family in the media, and that was like, how many other people shared that experience? And he's probably been informed by his own propaganda. We're all affected by it.
You see that point there? That's the crucial one, the Top Boy thing. It's not only that image that's been there. You got Martin Lawrence, you got them show there from way back. What happened? What, the Cosby Show, My Wife and Kids, Sister. Man grew up with certain things,
It's
you know.
all American TV shows.
Yeah, but
though.
regardless, it was on air.
Yeah.
Now it's like,
Desmond,
where's that
Desmond's
representation?
British.
Girlfriend.
How come nothing went
All of
like
us.
Top Boy? How come nothing got a fund pushed into it? Because Top Boy was going to get bankrupt. So you can't just say, oh, well, because maybe it wasn't working, it wasn't successful. Top Boy wasn't going to run. And a man came with
And
the
put
big
money
P's
in.
and he funded it. So why is no one funding things like Attack of the Block? I love Attack of the Block.
Yeah.
That guy from Star Wars, the black brother, my guy.
That was
I can't remember
funny.
his name right now, but that's sick sci-fi kind of twist. It's like, it's just showing the man them are just cool. We talk a bit of slang and that doesn't mean that you're killing man. No, just because you talk a bit of slang. Like. So where is that? My Wife and Kids. Where's the UK version? There's a whole market for it because look how great these shows done. These shows were selling off, but it doesn't meet the narrative that people want to project of black people worldwide.
But
That's what it
people
is.
can also say that, there are other narratives, and we have someone like Idris Elba, and he's playing a policeman in Luther.
Like Luther and
And
them,
it's,
man.
a very
True.
riveting, and, I enjoyed it. And people can argue, there's a lot of different characters out there, or depictions of black men, which is the black police officer, what's it called? Boys, what's it called?
Boys in the Hood? Not Boys in the Hood.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys.
Okay,
What you gonna do when we come for your camera?
yeah,
So there are movies like that where black men are seen as
Even Luke Cage
action-packed,
and stuff
fighting
like that.
justice, and Luke Cage, and So
But
yeah,
they're
maybe.
anomalies though. That's what it is.
And they often go
Do you think
towards that
so?
kind of police.
I think they've
Roadman
the
or
anomalies.
policeman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and even then, as the black community's relationship with the police, as it is,
Yeah.
is that even a positive thing for us?
And there's
anyway?
still that kind of depiction. You see, even like in Bad Boys, even in Luther, if you underline, there's certain things that they try to put as a stigma, like it's black. Like even the way my man moves a piece, like Mike Lowry on his thing, and it's like, why can't it just be like calm brother? Like, like when I watch some of them shows, with white brothers in them, like my missus make me watch certain things, all Bates Motel, certain thing. Now I'm watching the show, there's bare white people in there. It's not something that man them would watch in that, But if halfway through the season I'm watching it, Rihanna will come in the show. There's no other black people with Rihanna. I'm saying, look at this.
Wow.
It's a mad show.
Right.
Nothing to do with role. Like, look who, because they respect and associate certain people. So as you said, certain people can get that role in that show.
Exactly.
But other than that, you have all these people calm, just doing short roles. The whole show's white. No one's complaining. But then if we was to do the opposite, Wakanda, it's making man an outrage. How come there's no white people in the show? Do you know how many shows there are? There's barely any black men in it.
And no one said that about Game of Thrones. Like,
No one say that. Where's the black Game of Thrones in Africa?
In Game of Thrones.
With the things. Do you know what we are? No, do you know what we are? We are the Unsullied brothers. That's what they did. They made the black brothers them with the brothers who cut off their teeth.
I don't even watch it because we're about.
Listen, they violated in the desert and decided to cross the sea, and this is disrespectful.
That's what I thought.
The one mixture of sea and
what is that about?
the culture, that kind of. They made it. When you deep it, it's sad, and then you got the European side of things. Nice, glamorized Jon Snow and the man there, the gal with the white hair, Dragon Queen. Everyone's loving it.
Yeah.
But the black body's been feminized. Look at the symbology. They chopped off my man's things. Look at the symbology. They took his masculinity, and now he's working for the white girl there with the hair and that. Whatever she says to do, you have to do it.
What show is that?
Game of Thrones, and these are the biggest shows.
And I tried to get
biggest
through the
show.
first season.
You don't expect us to watch
So
it.
many names.
I didn't even touch
Yeah.
it. I didn't even touch
The first
it.
episode is hard to catch on, but once you get sucked in, you get sucked.
I stopped at the part where the boy fell off a roof.
Okay, yeah, that's very early.
Yeah, that's
very early.
Yeah.
Three-eyed raven. You man know. You
Okay.
know. But still.
I do love Daenerys Targaryen still. She's my girl still.
Yeah. No, the character. Remember, the character's not a real person.
Yeah.
The character is. It's amazing. Even like, that's why I like anime and them things. It's a character, but you see the people behind that who chose that character. A character's imaginary. Daenerys could have been a black woman, white hair, firm face, big chubby thing like that.
Everything could have been.
It could have been that. But that's not what they wanted.
That's not what they wanted.
Because she's just
Someone
Daenerys.
wanted to do them.
So it's like, why? Because people tend to think exactly like it's a character, she's good. So why are they all the sick characters and these people? Why couldn't Jon Snow be a, get me, brother? Why couldn't they be called like John Mudd? Black man, you get me? Because look at the symbology, Jon Snow. Snow associated with the whiteness, the purity of things.
Wow.
Everything that's white associated with the purity of things.
Come on now.
This is it.
There's been so many like pieces that I've gone through, like when I'm looking for auditions that are available and stuff, and it's like I'll read it, and be like, oh, that looks interesting, and then it's like it has to be a white character.
Yeah.
They'll say white. I'm looking for blonde hair. I'm looking for a brunette.
Prince Charming or something.
But why couldn't I play that character? Why couldn't? Do you know what I mean?
Thank
And I've even had teachers say to me, like, you know, you'll talk your teachers. You have a conversation like, okay, cool. So, what kind of like what casting type do you think I fit and whatever? And yeah, I've had a teacher say to me, yeah, like I think you'd be good as like, you know, single mother.
No!
And the thing is,
She's hinting.
he didn't think he was being rude. Like he genuinely believed he was trying, like helping.
He thought like that's what you would associate with it.
Do you know what I mean? Because when I'll go to class, I'll be casual, I'll wear tracksuit or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I think you'll fit single mother type and all of that, and then I remember showing my headshots and being like, oh,
how about now?
Because I did headshots different to how I'm showing up in class. And it's like, it's like, yeah, I forgot that you have this.
Wow.
But it's genuine.
What are we supposed to do with that though?
It's that ignorance.
And the fact it's so deep rooted, a man doesn't even notice it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a man's just thinking, I'm just being genuine.
That's like my supervisor at uni. He said it's so cash. He's just like, how's that?
But that's how ingrained.
Look at what my topic is about. My topic is about this, and you just literally just said it out your mouth. Like,
did you go through it with the end? In the end?
Yeah. But I challenged him, and I feel like, but the fact that I had to challenge him on something that was that the title itself shows the portrayal and challenging the portrayal and the assumptions that are made as a result of these portrayals, and it was so subconscious in him that even being presented with that as someone who's meant to be intelligent and an educator. Still was able to fall into that, unconscious bias.
I mean, it's crazy. Like even when I was doing my piece for my degree, it was on Rwanda, and they wouldn't even let me go into how the French came in colonizing.
Yeah.
They just looked at the conflict between
the two tribes.
Of course not.
But them man there.
Meanwhile, it was the Europeans who came in and created the whole
Exactly,
division. They didn't even let me tap into that. So
They didn't let me.
So
whose dissertation is it?
it's just the way that the course is structured.
It's not in the
They
criteria.
want you to see how the blacks worked it out between themselves, but they don't want us to see how
The white hand was behind it.
Exactly.
The glove.
And
that was so
that's
deep.
perfectly understandable because they're not going to allow you to fully understand your own story, and they're not going to allow you to tell your own authentic story. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is molding you according to how we see fit and according to the society we've made for you.
The education system itself, everything how it's set up.
And part of these media portrayals is part of that. That's the whole point, is to mold you into the boy we want you to be. I'm not going to show you that young man who wants to be an engineer, because I don't want you to even know how to spell
They
engineer.
don't even think it's important. They don't even think that aspect is important anyway.
Or maybe
Because they're not used to thinking that.
And it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell. Doesn't make money.
Yeah,
It's mad, you know.
it's a deep one.
There's so much, bro. We had chatting for hours, bro. It was calm.
So how did you? I want to talk a bit more about your dissertation in terms of like that experience in terms of not being able to include.
Well, that wasn't my actual dissertation. It was a module that I was doing. My dissertation was on something else.
Okay.
Yeah, it just didn't give me an opportunity. I had to just kind of briefly mention it, even though there was so much to go into because the history is so rooted in colonialism. But I could only look at what the immediate effects of the war itself, the genocide itself, but the true root cause that I wanted to get into, I couldn't. And there was a funny interview that I cited in it, where there was a journalist who says to a black woman, "How come you don't tell your true story?" And she was like, "Even if I do, you won't have the ears for it."
Trust me.
You know, so it was a peacekeeper, a white man, who was interviewing her and saying, "Why you don't tell your real story?" And she was like, "You don't have the ears for it. Like, you want to hear it, but then when I start talking the real stuff,
You think you want to
you think you want to hear it. You don't really want to hear it." And it's funny how that trickles down even into my my work for university.
Yeah.
But
But
that is the system.
that goes into, like, you see when people say, "Oh, everyone should have these debates, black and white, and we should all
I'm
talk
done
about the
debating.
struggle in that."
No one
You see, yeah, it's all nice when we're talking about certain things and that, yeah. But you see, when we start getting into the nitty gritty and that, unless you have a high level of emotional intelligence, yeah, and objectivity, man can't handle it. Man say, "So what you trying to say? I didn't enslave." No, man say, "You ain't. We know
I
this."
wasn't there.
But the
So
point of
stating the obvious, like, do I look down to
there's
you?
effects, like, you understand, it's like you have to have a certain level of knowledge points, because I see it as like, you see, the more information you read, in my own mind I have a short list. Everyone I chat to, I give you a little mark, knowledge points, and I know how much knowledge points you have. No, when you walk into a room, the more I open my mouth, I'm giving you knowledge points. If I sit in there and just shut up and let you not chat to me, I'm gaining knowledge points. The more you chat to people, you're letting them in. So
Yes.
these people know this.
Right.
They're gauging man's knowledge points and they're putting certain things there.
Exactly.
And when it comes to conversations now, to truly
It's a setup.
bring up knowledge on racism and these
Yeah.
things, oh, they make you look like you're mad. Go
It's a
watch Dr.
setup.
Frances Cress.
Yes.
She's talking the realest scientific
The realest.
facts on the show, right?
Exactly.
White brother there, all the audience and the man there, yeah? No disrespect to them, but they're trying to take her for an idiot. If you see the level of grace and emotional control this queen has to have, she's sitting there with the afro, are you mad? I love it when I'm watching this. And she's there and they're trying to ridicule us. Oh, you're trying to say...
They play dumb, don't
Yeah,
they?
oh.
They play real
Are you mad, bro? She's talking the maddest scientific facts. And if it was
Yeah.
the next brother in the thing there, she would have got a PhD and a Nobel Prize for
Exactly.
it. So certain
Exactly.
people want to hear it until you touch that nerve. It's like even with people. You might say something to someone and it's like, they get mad. You know you touch the nerve.
They get
But when
mad.
you're talking about all this stuff that don't matter,
Triggered.
small talk, we're
Exactly.
all up for
They're
that.
there all day.
So where do you see the future of the UK Black British entertainment industry?
Got Kush TV.
Yay! That's it.
But on a wider scale,
You just
But we're
NFAC.
moving in the right direction.
NFAC, baby.
Yeah.
Slowly
Can
we're
you
getting
stay
that,
now?
and,
I'm just playing. I'm just
I
playing.
do feel
it's because of platforms like this and shows like this that we're getting that knowledge through.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to be a struggle, but I know we're going to get there.
I think we need to move forward fearlessly. I think we
we own it.
have to stop being afraid of our own story and stop being ashamed of who we are and stop begging for people's approval. I how you see me, unfortunately, does concern me in regards to the systematic way things are set up. But in terms of my own self-worth and self-confidence, how you see me should be none of my concern.
Exactly.
You know, it's how we
Sure.
see each other and how we you know, the effort we
value
put exactly to tell our own stories.
And that's what I want to say is we can't depend on them anymore. Thinking they're going to subsidize schools for us and subsidize all of this. It's in our hands now. It's our conversation to have. Really and truly.
Yeah. And I think like over the last sort of few years, particularly in the theatre, there's been so many black playwrights that have produced full black cast, quality
You're going to take me
plays.
to theatre one day.
Yo, trust me, like I'm thinking Barbershop Chronicles.
That was so good.
What's it? The Three Sisters, both by a Nigerian playwright, British Nigerian playwright,
Yeah.
Inwa Ellams. Listen.
Okay.
The Three Sisters, it was a Nigerian version, and it was telling the story of the Biafran Civil War. Do you understand?
Right.
But then at the same time, who's going to watch it?
That's
When you
the
go
thing.
there, you see, black.
It's mixed.
Because
It's very mixed.
Yeah, but a lot of
Is
the
it mostly
time, it's still predominantly
Well, which is us,
No.
when I us, you know, when I would see Three Sisters, it was a nice mix.
But
But
at the same time.
But we didn't go together. We was there at the same time, but we didn't go together. We went separately. She was her mama.
Okay. So you were sat in different sections.
Just the context.
It was nice to see people there, but obviously, it's, when I go to the fair, it's usually still predominantly white.
And that's good then, because they want to see our stories too. So that is a market for
But
it.
even
they want to consume our
they've done consumed straight already. But there's a market for it. There's a whole museum for it. They didn't even want to copy it. They took the things. Do you understand? These men took pillars from Egypt at a time when they weren't shipping. They weren't shipping ships. These men put these things on a bag of people and a bag of animals, and they walk the thing, bro. So they want our culture.
But the point is that we're saying that
everyone
black trauma porn is making money, which is why we're not seeing it on the TV screen. But when you go to the theatre, as Tan was saying, white people are sitting in filling up the theatre and buying those stories. So there is a market for it.
And it's about our story, current story now. Misty. One of the best players I've ever seen. Arinze Kenny.
Bring that back,
British
please.
Nigerian.
Please bring it back.
It's so good that it got moved from one theatre to another.
Yeah.
He's telling the story of seeing the changes he's seen in Hackney.
Wow.
So it's about gentrification.
Yes.
It's about racism. It's about class.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he's doing it using spoken words. And one guy.
Say his name again for the
to the end. Arinze Kenny. One of the best players I've seen.
That's dope.
So we are. I feel like we are done. I feel like we are done. If you look at there's a community of actors coming up. There's a community of writers, musicians coming up who are paving the way and making those changes. So it's about not stop focus. Like we know now. We know that they're not letting us. But why are you asking for permission?
So we're not being
It's not about that. It's not just
We're being
about we need middle class, we need power positions. Yeah, we do. There are black doctors, there are black head teachers, there are black whatever. We do need to see that, but also, even if it is a working class character, it don't matter. It's about the substance that you put to that character, because we know in real life there are people of working class that motivate us and move us.
And
It's
not
got
from the
nothing to
roads.
do with their class, but
the
it's
roads.
to do with what they're saying. You could be a single parent mother or father, going to uni, hustling.
Doing your thing.
Do you know what I mean? Inspiring people in the
And
community.
still raising
That's
the child.
positive.
That's all family around him. He's
It
lazy.
don't have to be all whatever.
Yeah.
But let's have some substance. Let's have some
control
levels
over
to
our
what
narrative.
You get me?
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
where we meet in the middle is education and I guess marketing or whatever. Because honestly speaking, I don't know these plays that you're talking about, and that's ignorance on my part, and I need to look at myself.
50-50.
Yeah, right.
Because
yeah,
just
I
like how
need to look
Six
at
just
myself.
came and showed you, that's ignorance on your part. But how do you know about Top Boy? How do you know about Coca-Cola? Go on the train, it's right in your
it's
face.
everywhere.
So
It's
there's
everywhere.
also two sides.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
we have to create the
Great point.
infrastructure. Because these men created, you don't just create a society, you don't just create an organization, they create the infrastructure first. How can we get something? They made a machine to put in your yard first.
Yes.
Then after that machine was in your yard, they found a way, how can we use that machine to
Against-
our agenda?
Exactly.
We have to create infrastructure for ourselves.
Yes.
We have to have places where we advertise, like Kevlar and me, we do our own little study group and everything. That we have to create it. School is a gathering of people. It's like people are so wrapped up in the aesthetics and the material of it. This is school right here. If there was 6 youths sitting on the floor listening to us,
they'd be
that's
learning
school.
something.
They would have learned something.
But we're so robotic, has to be behind square desk with that chair. We have to think deeper and do for ourselves. We can.
Yeah.
And on that note, family, so before we wrap up today's episode, I'd like to introduce a special guest, Respect Fire Bingies, come to join the Cipher and engage in the conversation. So, Respect, we're talking about the Top Boy style road life narratives that we often see portrayed in the Black British media. And we've talked about it a lot in different angles, and we've kind of touched on how a lot of the actors have gone from playing those type of typecasted roles and have tried to get out of that narrative and moved on to playing roles like police officers and stuff like that instead. And there's the question of, considering the relationship the Black community has with the police, is that even positive? and the fact that, you know, we want to see different narratives, but is a middle class narrative even beneficial or more positive for the black community to consume? And is the road life something that is even depicted accurately on the screen? So I just want to know what your views are on those things.
So like a couple years ago, I wrote a script. I ain't gonna go too deep into it, yeah. But like the script, I feel like a lot of these scripts, yeah, if it ain't got the conscious element in the community, like for me, like Top Boy, a lot of the stuff that happened, that's how man lived. You get me? So I can't say it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like little youths trying to sell stuff and hustle that way. That's what man done first, and then man ended up in the bando. Do you know what I'm saying? Because trying to sell Fanta fruit twists were really working out.
Yeah.
Once you leave school, you ain't got no customers.
And honestly, man, when I provide for mum, the youth was getting immigration. These are stuff that real black youths, 12, 13, 14 are facing right now.
Exactly.
And that's how we get into that thing. So that's why my thing is, like, let's create opportunities. The more opportunity, I just heard my brethren the other day, he just done 10 years, 10 years. And now he's doing construction. You get me? Mr. Gears just done 10 years. Now he's giving out jobs for construction. But like, these man, the thing that, and these were the, like, is he shy? Like, he was, that man there should have been born up in the time of the Three Musketeers.
Trust me.
The way that man moved with their sword on the roads, just wasn't meant to be born in this time. He was meant to be born in the Three Musketeers time. You know what I'm saying? But, and no one would have ever thought he could change. No one would ever think that he's legit. You get me? After 10 years as well, you're going to think he's going to come back out on a more
Gears, yeah? But he won an award. He won an award as well.
I'm talking about Shy, but even Gears, the same thing. Like, the same kind of difference, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, both of them done 10 years, both of them are out, both of them are legit. Like, and the things that change the brothers is opportunities. Like, the reason why man are out there gonna dash away man's life for nothing, because they don't value their own life. It's very, very simple. Like, if I don't value my life, then I don't mind killing Wiz, or Wiz kills me, because I don't value myself, innit? You know what I'm saying? So it's just about bringing that value back to our communities. But back to the movie thing, like the movie that man wrote, it's like, it's got those road elements in it, but it's also got that story of the conscious community linking up with the road youths in order to create a better change for our community. Like, that's the whole storyline of the thing. I don't want to go too deep into it, but that's the storyline of the thing. There's a film called One Day in Birmingham. It's
a musical kind of
thing. Yeah, but there's a point where the brother's at the table with his grandma. You get me? And they're talking about Christianity, and he starts talking about the different conspiracy theories and rare, you know what I'm saying? And like, I think we need more of that in these Top Boys. So like, alright, cool, but where's the Rasta man on the block to give man them wisdom? Where's the, even one day it had the Christian pastor, the real one, not the TG Jakes on the plane. I'm talking about the real ones that are actually in our communities, like Reverend Huey that used to give up the buildings for us to come and do set up INAP. You get me? Like, where's the Muslim brothers that are telling the brothers them come off the road, the judge of souls? Like, where's the representation of them man in the movie? Because that would make and then the thing is, them man have to be highlighted as the thing. Like, the shine is the thing meant to shine. That's what we're to glamorize. You know what I'm saying? And I think then we're telling the full story. Right now, it's like what you said. It's like, man, if man's not a roadman, man's a police officer. What do you mean,
makes
fam?
No sense.
Like, there's not so many inspirational black brothers. They're not policemen. They're not roadmen. You get me? And they're doing massive things in the community. Where are these guys? Where's the glitter and the gold on that? Because that's all. That's the real thing. That's a real G. You know what I'm saying? Like, a man that's providing for his community, a man that's an asset to his community. You know,
and they have to highlight those kind of people, because those are the true heroes. Like, it's not easy to be on that grind when your whole environment is just negativity, it's toxic, and you still got to discipline yourself to get up at 5 a.m. to read a book, to do a speech. You know what I'm saying, to these kids in school who just want to be on their phone and look at other roadmen and other people they look up to. That's a difficult position to be in, and to stay in that for 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, really, and build underground.
Especially
that's
when you're broke, man.
And those are the heroes that we need to glamorize in the films.
That's true. When you're broke and that man's offering you, jump on the roads now, man saying, I'll give you a box, bro. Go crunch for man, fam. Make 5-10 racks. Or go get a job, fam. Make sure you're good. What are they glamorizing, bro?
£13 an hour.
But the guy who's going, at least you can be there for your youth. Because the brother who get caught with the box in the motorway now, 5 years down the line, you're in jail, bro. You can't see your youth now. But people don't realise sometimes them man even do it for his youth. And it's like, imagine, until you're in that position where you know, it's not even for yourself. Bro, I know some of the realest man on the road. You see, when you have a youth and them things, bro, I know man who are clean. Bro, if he can't survive, his expenses, his assets don't match his liabilities. He can't survive. So what's he going to do, bro? If you're a real brother, you're going to find a way. Or you're going to watch your people demise. And what the problem is what Ras said, opportunities. So when you're in that position and you're low, because that's when man catch you. Man, don't go to the brother who's got job opportunity, he's going to this acting thing. Man ain't going to him say, come, go punch. No, it's the brother who's on the road, he ain't got no trainers. Man are laughing after him. Man are saying, bro, don't watch that, bro. That older might even feel sorry for him, but the older, he was misguided. And the one way that he learned how to get out of being mocked and all them things was, fam, I went crunch, I made my money in that, bro. You hear it in the songs, gal didn't want to know me, now I got my money up, they all want to know me. It's like, man, I'm telling you what it is. So why is that what the narrative is? Why does she not want to know you? Why is the interest in material things? Why is the interest not in, wow, my man owns a business, you know. He's a man who provides opportunity to other black men. That should be seen as sexiness. That should be seen as, aye. When you got youths and that, you've got opportunity. That's what my dad did.
Legacy to pass down.
When man's got sons and daughters, and when COVID comes, you see, that's what I always used to say, let me run an off license. Man used to laugh after me, my brethren. You see, when COVID licked, the brothers who run the off license are laughing, you know. We just lock our shop and say, we're not selling nothing. All them stock there, that's our whole family good. What are you lot doing? Can't do much. So it's the narrative, the opportunities. We've got to control it. We've got to control it.
We've got to create. We've got to be our own operation.
That's
you know
it.
what I'm saying? Like, I'm not waiting on no one to give man nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like, man loves the ethos of the reparations much. But I feel like my thing is that if we could use that same energy that we're marching to Parliament Square to all work together to try heal certain L's of our community, the certain of the L's wouldn't even be there. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's obviously, I can't talk too much right now, but that's exactly what we're in the process of doing with Forever Family. That we're looking to repair the damage ourselves, and but that's the route where the reparations is repair. And once we repair ourselves to a certain level, that puts us in a better position to make demands. Because all we're asking people for stuff like, I'm telling you, man, come from the road. Like, no point did anyone ever rob someone and then you knock on their door and say, please, can I get my phone back?
Back?
You know what I mean? You have to come with your brother, your cousin, your uncle, and
man outside man's door, and you're not even leaving to get no food,
to
get my things back. That's when man's gonna be like, you know what? Yeah, let's just give these brothers their things.
We don't want no problems.
It's looking hard. You know what I'm saying? So like all of this. So yeah, for me, it's like we need to put those visuals of the real. You know what I'm saying? And the real is from so many different elements. Like I said, like. Them two brothers done 10 years. I know man that have been on, that's the thing, it's not even jail that's the issue, it's the mindset, because I know two brothers that have done 10 years, and right now, they're doing better off than brothers that I know that have been on the road for 10 years.
Done 10 years on road.
man hasn't been in jail, man's been out, you know, like, but man's done nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? Man's been out there doing nothing, where them man in jail, they made sure when he was on DCAT, no one didn't see man.
Studying,
man's in study, man's at work, that's it, you know what I'm saying? I call it inspiration. So it's all about the mindset, you know what I'm saying? Like when people are looking at man, like one of the main things I want to do is hit inside the jails, but even on the road, and bring a lot of these lifers to the youths as well, because these 13-year-olds, obviously they're not going to take it from a man that is definitely not from it, or even a man that's saying that, or man that hasn't read that bit. But when a man's told you, look, bro, I just came out, 25. I haven't seen my daughter for 10 birthdays. When a man looks you in the eye and says that, you have to take
and
it. If you don't take it seriously, then you know what I'm saying? Shit. Yeah, more for you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? But it's not the end of the world when man go jail. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if we just put out these images, these positive images, like the brother that comes out of jail and sets up a construction company, and once he sets up the construction company, he's employing other youths, showing other youths how to get training, other youths. My brethren,
Let's do a movie about him.
Yeah.
Not movies about him.
Ideas, we love it.
My other brethren, he was on the road shotting. He was doing his thing. He was making peas, but he was a smart youth in school, so he still got his engineer, his electrician, the thing. That's why I always told the youths, I didn't come out with no degrees in it. I always tell the youths, get what you can in it. My brethren came out with an electrician thing, but he was still doing up roads, you get me? Doing rare, making shots. This and that happened in the ends. Someone tried to move to him. A couple times he got moved to, like, he just said, you know what, fund this. I'm just going to get an electrician job. Bro, the guy bought his mum a new car off of an electrician job. You get me? Now he's before when he was driving his car, you know what I'm saying? He's looking back. Man's not comfortable. You see the roads? Like, I got a bar which is like, no one like to sell to druggies. How can you knock it when it's how you bought your daughter's buggy? Like, the road thing is not something where man wake up in the morning and man love it. Car. Anytime you hear a bang, you're thinking about the door. You're thinking about have you got the means to protect yourself. You're thinking about how high up am I? Can I jump out the window? Like these are not like these are every day. These are the thoughts that you're dealing with. You get me? There's no break. You get me? And then one day when you got your 30 bags, feds can kick it off, take your 30 bags. That's it. Now my brother's doing the electrician thing. See that 30 bags, they can't touch it. They can't touch it. So it's just wisdom, innit? And explaining this in a way where our youth understand and showing them opportunities. And I'm guaranteeing you we're going to see change.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, that side of things is not shown in the, you know, that kind of road life movie, you know, like, about tell a lie, Top Boy, the second one, well, the third one, not part 2, but the third one, when they showed Shane growing up and he became one of those dusty older brothers who were just still on the same thing, and the youngers were coming up under him, taking over. So that kind of side of things, like, okay, is that what it's really about? Like, you could Shane, he was running the ends, he was Top Boy, and now he's an old man. He ain't Top Boy anymore. There's a new Top Boy coming up, kind of take you off your throne. Like, and if you ain't being smart of the money you're making, you're going to be on the same block as a 40, 50-year-old man doing the same old thing, not moving forward, and the youngers are going to come under you. And they even tried to show him trying to like invest in property, and had that gone well, he may have been able to come off the road and, you know, showing him being legit, but that didn't really get much play. That kind of flopped, and he ended up back on the block on the road, and now he's beefing a younger up-and-coming Top Boy for that same dusty estate.
For that block over there,
dusty estate.
But why is there always the same narrative as well in these films, which I don't seem to understand, yeah? Look at Top Boy. Who's the plug? It's this white woman in the antique shop. So why aren't they raiding antique shops? Because didn't you see? She's there. This is depicting real life, bro. So how many of them shops there, you know, them little charity shop on the roadside? She's got the plug. She got the things, them. She's dealing with the man, them. It showed. The white man is there with his girl and that. They were saying, yeah, what, you don't want, she's working with both sides. She's working with him. You must saying, we got your plug. The Shane saying, link up with man.
Getting the guns from the farmers. No one's raiding no farms in the UK. You know what I mean?
So it shows you that they clearly know what's going on.
We don't manufacture or distribute drugs or guns at the highest level.
No.
Facts.
We don't have the means.
That's it.
But then they don't want to promote things like The Godfather of Harlem now. Bumpy Johnson. Black man. Mafia. Made man, the only ever black man, made man in the world. My man did this thing different.
That's how comes I like Church Road, you know. I love the way the olders there put the youngers on. Like, even though it might be seen as negative because everything is going around, there's that love thing.
Within
the
community.
Like big brother
sort of
looking out for little brother.
Yeah.
And if we could spread that ethos right across the communities, and not just big brother looking out for little brother, like them youths there, when they see grandma struggling with her bags, she for see man run over.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
and if you don't, man will pattern up young G, bro. Didn't you see grandma coming?
Yeah.
That's it. But that's what the old man used to do. Yeah. My dad told me in their time, man used to check, man. If you saw a man, he's not moving quick, you say, yo, brother, yo, ease up. Don't do that. Now it's like, don't tell me nothing. Like, no, can't tell me nothing. That's my girl, that's my family. Like, even you chat, that's one time man tried to tell one person's you at an event, she's saying, that's my child. Don't talk. I'm saying, but right is right, no?
It's finished.
Whether she's saying it, whether I'm saying it, whether Mrs.
It shouldn't matter.
It's like, right is right.
Shouldn't matter.
2 + 2 is 4. Yeah. Because you're saying, oh, it's my child, you shouldn't discipline my child. This is why you got them youths now on the road where it's like, no one can't tell them nothing. Because they know, oh, mum, when you go tell their mum now, she's going to move ignorant. She's going to all come and back your ignorance. My mum was not like that.
Talk too much, but we've got to have a force within our community which is respected. That's all man's gonna say. We have to have a force within our community that's respected across the board. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's about the community. We're not trying to bully or harm no one, but you know that if anything's going wrong in the community, these people are serious, and
because the community is vulnerable.
The same way you man will ride out for the estate, we'll ride out for the whole community. That's how man have to look at man.
And I think on that note, it's fair to conclude that that narrative is problematic. It is changing. It is going deeper, and the Black British media stroke entertainment industry is growing in the right direction. It's in its infancy, but it's growing. It's going in the right direction. So the fact, the Cipher is, tell me what you think. You know, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And until next time, enter the Cipher.
You ain't got
do the outro in a minute.